My shadow had a name, and the day I finally learned it was the day I understood why everyone I ever loved had died screaming. They say every man walks with his shadow, but what they don't tell you is that some shadows walk with their own purpose. Some shadows remember things you've forgotten. Some shadows carry debts you never knew you owed. My name is Chukwuemeka, and this is the story of how I discovered I was never alone. It started the morning of my wedding day. I was 25 years old, marrying the love of my life, Adeheze, beautiful Adeheze, with eyes like midnight and a laugh that could make the ancestors smile. We'd been together for 3 years, 3 perfect years. My mother had died when I was 12, my father when I was 17. I had no siblings. Adeheze was all I had left in this world. The morning sun was rising over Lagos as I stood in front of the mirror, adjusting my agbada, traditional white embroidered with gold, my father's agbada, saved for this very day. That's when I noticed it, my shadow on the wall behind me. It wasn't moving the way shadows should move. When I raised my right hand, my shadow raised its left. When I stepped forward, my shadow stepped back. For just a moment, just a fraction of a second, but I saw it. I blinked, looked again. Normal now. My shadow mimicked me perfectly, like shadows are supposed to do. I laughed at myself. Wedding day nerves, that's all. But then my shadow smiled. I wasn't smiling. My shadow was smiling. I stumbled backward, crashed into the dresser. When I looked again, nothing. Just my normal shadow, looking as confused as I felt, copying my every movement. "Chuku, are you ready?" Adeheze's voice from outside the door. Sweet, excited, alive. "Yes, my love," I called back. "Just nervous." "Don't be nervous," she laughed. "We've waited so long for this day. Nothing can go wrong now." Nothing can go wrong now. The wedding was at St. Augustine's Cathedral. 300 guests, white roses everywhere, like clouds had descended to celebrate with us. Adeheze walked down the aisle looking like an angel wrapped in ivory lace. I took her hands at the altar. They were trembling, or maybe mine were. Father Benedict began the ceremony. "Dearly beloved, we are gathered here today," and that's when the first candle went out. Then another. Then another. All 30 candles around the cathedral extinguished in sequence, like invisible fingers pinching out each flame. The cathedral filled with confused murmurs. Father Benedict paused, concerned. "Just a draft," someone said. But there was no wind. Every window was closed. I looked down at the marble floor. The sunlight streaming through the stained glass windows should have cast our shadows long and clear. But there was only one shadow. Mine. Adeheze had no shadow. I blinked, certain I was seeing things wrong. But no. The light was bright, direct. I cast a shadow. She cast nothing. "Chuku, are you okay?" I looked up at her face, her beautiful face. And behind her eyes, just for a moment, I saw something else looking back at me. Something old, something that knew me. "I'm fine," I lied. Father Benedict continued, "If anyone has any reason why these two should not be wed, speak now or forever hold your peace." In the silence that followed, I heard it, a voice, faint, coming from below me, from my shadow. "She's not real." I spun around. Who said that? Everyone stared at me. "Chuku," Adeheze touched my arm. Her hand was cold, too cold. Nobody said anything. I thought, I looked down at my shadow again. It was looking back at me, head tilted, waiting. "Perhaps we should take a moment," Father Benedict suggested gently. "No!" Adeheze's grip on my arm tightened. Her nails dug in. "No moments! We continue, now!" Her voice had changed, deeper, layered with something else underneath. Father Benedict looked uncomfortable, but nodded. "Very well. Chukwuemeka, do you take this woman?" "Stop!" Everyone turned. An old woman stood at the back of the cathedral. I'd never seen her before. Ancient, wrapped in white cloth, eyes clouded with cataracts. She walked forward slowly, leaning on a carved walking stick. "This wedding cannot happen," she said simply. Adehaze's face twisted with rage. "Who are you? Get out!" "I am Mama Nkiruka, and I am the one who has been keeping that boy alive for 25 years, she pointed her stick at me. "Because his mother asked me to." "My mother? My mother is dead," I said. "Yes," Mama Nkiruka nodded. "And she died protecting you from this," she pointed at Adehaze. Adehaze laughed, high and sharp. "You're a crazy old woman. Chuku, tell them I'm real. Tell them you love me." I opened my mouth, but the words wouldn't come. Because I was starting to remember. "Look at your shadow, boy. Look at what's been protecting you all these years." I looked down. My shadow was no longer mimicking me. It was standing still while I moved, and it was taking shape, growing, rising from the floor like smoke. The shadow became solid, became a person, became my mother. She stood before me, made of darkness and memory, but her face was clear. Her eyes were the same eyes that had sung me to sleep as a child. "Nene?" I whispered. "Mother." The shadow mother spoke, and her voice was like wind through leaves. "I'm sorry, my son. I'm so sorry I never told you." "Told me what?" "What you are, what we are, what your father did."
The story poured out of her like water breaking through a dam. 26 years ago, my father was a wealthy man, but wealth made him greedy. He wanted more, always more. So he made a deal. He went to a powerful witch doctor deep in the forest. He made a sacrifice, his firstborn child's destiny, in exchange for unlimited wealth. The witch doctor agreed, but there was a cost my father didn't understand. When I was born, my destiny was no longer my own. Every joy I would ever feel, every love I would ever know, every success I would ever achieve, all of it was marked, claimed, owned by the spirit the witch doctor served. My mother discovered this when I was 3 months old. She found the contract hidden in my father's things. She was horrified. She knew what it meant. The spirit would let me live, would let me grow, would let me fall in love, would let me achieve everything I dreamed of. And then, at the moment of my greatest happiness, it would take everything. My wedding day. The spirit would consume my joy, my love, my life, and everything I was would become fuel for its existence. My mother couldn't break the contract, but she could delay it. She went to Mama Nkuruka, a powerful priestess. Together they performed a ritual. They bound a protective spirit to my shadow, a guardian that would watch over me, warn me, protect me. That guardian was my mother herself. She had to die for the ritual to work. She had to become the shadow, had to give up her life to save mine. My father never knew. He died years later, his wealth intact, never understanding what he'd done, never knowing his wife had sacrificed herself for his sin. And for 25 years, my mother's spirit lived in my shadow, watching, waiting, protecting me from the thing that came to collect. Adehaze screamed, but it wasn't Adehaze's scream. It was the sound of metal scraping stone, of animals dying, of children crying in the dark. Her body began to change. The beautiful woman I thought I loved twisted and warped. Her skin turned gray like ash. Her eyes became hollow pits. Her fingers stretched into claws. She was never real, never human. She was the spirit, the collector, the thing that owned my destiny. It had taken the form of everything I wanted, had played the role perfectly for 3 years, had made me fall in love, had brought me to this moment, to this cathedral, to this wedding. Because a wedding is a binding, a contract. If I had said I do, my soul would have been sealed, my destiny consumed. The thing that wore Adiaze's face lunged at me. My mother's shadow met it halfway. They collided in the center of the cathedral, light and dark, life and death, love and hunger. The guests screamed and fled. Father Benedict scrambled behind the altar. Mama and Karuka stood firm, chanting in a language older than words. My mother's shadow wrapped around the spirit like chains. "Run, Chuku, run!" "I'm not leaving you again," I shouted. "You never left me." Her voice was fading. "I've always been with you. In every moment, every step, I've watched you grow, watched you become a man, and I am so proud." Tears streamed down my face. "Mama, please!" The spirit thrashed, trying to break free. Its voice was 1,000 voices screaming at once. "He is mine! The contract is binding! His father promised! His joy is mine to consume!" "His father's debt is not his burden," my mother's shadow roared, and for a moment she blazed with light brighter than the sun. "You want a destiny? Take mine! I gave it willingly! My love is stronger than your hunger!" Mama and Karuka's chanting grew louder. The walls of the cathedral shook. "A mother's sacrifice, freely given. No contract can stand against it. No spirit can claim what love has already protected." My mother's shadow squeezed tighter. The spirit shrieked. Its form began to dissolve, unraveling like smoke in wind. "No!" it howled. 25 years! 25 years I waited! I am owed!" "You are owed nothing," my mother said, and her voice was every mother who had ever protected her child, every woman who had ever stood between danger and the one she loved. "My son is free. My son will live. My son will love, and you will never touch him again." There was an explosion of light. When my vision cleared, the spirit was gone, destroyed, consumed by the very love it tried to harvest. And my mother's shadow was fading. "Mama, no!" I dropped to my knees beside the thin outline of darkness on the marble floor. "Don't go, please! I just got you back!" Her form was barely visible now, transparent, dissolving into the light. "I never left, Chuku, and I never will. I live in your kindness, your strength, your love. Every good thing you do, that's me. Every time you choose compassion over cruelty, I'm there. You carry me forward. I don't know how to live without you protecting me. You've been living without me protecting you for years, my son. You just didn't know it. Every choice you made, every obstacle you overcame, that was you. I was only ever watching. Proud, so very proud." Her hand, made of shadow and memory, touched my cheek one last time. "Live, Chuku. Live fully. Love deeply. Be happy. That's all I ever wanted for you. That's why I stayed. I love you, Mama. I love you too, my beautiful boy. Now let me rest." And she was gone. 6 months later. I stood at my mother's grave, a proper headstone now, with her full name, Chidinma Okonkwo, beloved mother, eternal guardian. "I brought someone to meet you, Mama," I said softly. The woman beside me squeezed my hand. Her name was Oluchi. I'd met her 3 months ago at a community center where I now volunteered, teaching kids to read. She was a nurse, kind, patient, real. Very real. I'd taken my time getting to know her, watched carefully, made sure. But I knew she was human. I knew she was genuine, and I knew my mother would have loved her. "Your son talks about you all the time," Oluchi said to the headstone. "I can tell you raised someone very special." I smiled. She did. Behind us, Mama and Karuka watched from a distance, leaning on her walking stick. She nodded at me. I nodded back. She told me everything after that day at the cathedral, how she'd helped my mother perform the ritual, how she checked on me throughout my life, invisibly, making sure the protection held. And how she'd sensed when the spirit was making its final move and rushed to the cathedral to help. "Your mother was the bravest woman I ever knew," she'd said. "She gave up everything, life, peace, rest, to give you a chance at a normal life. Don't waste it." I didn't intend to. I looked down at the ground, at my shadow, normal now, just a shadow, moving when I moved, still when I was still. But sometimes, in the right light, at the right angle, I swear I see her. Just for a moment, a woman's silhouette standing just behind mine.